own your share of Amazon stock. It's just a less valuable share, but you still have the same thing. It's like if I buy a piece of land and somebody tells me, well, yesterday your land was worth $142,000. Now today it's worth $141,000. Did I really lose money, or did I just have kind of an unrealized loss that really doesn't matter because it's the same patch of land? You own the same piece of Amazon now that you had last week. So don't forget that. Don't let the numbers kind of throw you off. Sometimes too much information can distract us and stress us out. All right, so let's keep going. Do you need 100 shares to sell a put? Yes, you do. Antonio, should I buy Robinhood Gold? I like it. Dewan, good evening, Dr. Boyce. I purchased BDCO in January 2022. Would it be best to sell at this point or purchase put options to protect my investment? Thanks. I would say if you want to keep riding it out with the stock, and you like what you said, it's BDCO. Let me see, BDCO, Blue Dolphin Energy Group. Ooh, look at you making all that money, 300% increase. Ooh, Lord. Yeah, I would sort of think about protecting the position, maybe sell some shares, get rid of a few shares or something like that, or do a stop loss. If it's trading at 606, maybe you do an order where you say if the stock drops below 6, then sell it. What are your thoughts on Snap? It's paying a strong premium. The reason Snap is paying a strong premium, Jamal, is because they have an earnings announcement coming up. Snap is what I call a pregnant stock. It's just like a pregnant pig probably sells for more than a pig that's not pregnant because you're kind of getting two pigs, right? So effectively with this stock, Snap, their earnings numbers are coming out, and you know that something's going to happen. So it's very exciting. It's like a gender reveal. A gender reveal is very exciting because we're like, oh, is it going to be a boy or a girl? We know something's going to happen. Something new, something's going to change, right? And option prices are built off that change. It's built on volatility, which is just simply things changing, right? So effectively, options that have these pregnant moments where the premiums are about to go up, those stocks tend to have higher premiums. Generally speaking, though, Snap is typically pretty good, even when it's not in an earnings announcement. This week, if you want to speculate on it and you're feeling, like having some fun, maybe you could jump in. Just know that whatever premium you sell the Snap shares for this week, or the options for, you're not going to be able to get that in general. Like, that's not a regular thing. All right, I'm going to answer a few more questions, and then we're going to bounce on out of here. I'm sorry I can't get all the questions, but inside, if you log in at theblackbusinessschool.com, there is a link where you can leave me questions, and I will answer the rest of those questions just piece by piece while I'm out of the country. All right, so let's see. Rain, Dr. Boyce, when you're talking about Carvana, you mentioned buying puts. So you don't need to own the stock in order to buy puts on it. No, you do not have to own the stock to buy puts. Now, I was talking about selling puts also. If you sell puts, though, you have to have the cash to secure the put order that you sell. Okay. Let's see. If your stock option hits the strike price midweek but goes below the strike price by the end of the week, should your shares get called? No. It's all about where the price is right at the buzzer, like a basketball game. It doesn't matter if you had the lead all through the game. All that matters is what the score is at the final buzzer. Two more questions, then we're going to get out of here. I apologize I couldn't get all your questions, but we've been on here almost 2 hours, and I know some of y'all are getting a little bit tired, and so we'll do another session soon, though. Danielle Smith, wait, can you say that again about making money off the Carvana stock? Yeah, the calls on Carvana stock are high right now because the stock price has been on a major move. And you can sell those calls in order to make money off Carvana. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm not an owner of the stock. So what I'm going to do is sell some puts so that if the price drops, I can buy at a better price. That's another way to play that when you don't want to buy at the current price. Or I could sit back to the sideline and just wait for the price to drop and then buy it then. Either way, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a market correction soon because the market has done so well lately. I don't like buying into a hot market like this. All right, Antonio, so if it's in the red or green, you can still sell the call option. That's what I'm not clear on. Yeah, if a stock goes down or up, you can always sell the call, but you have to have control of the stock, and you can't have the stock locked up in another option contract. So if I sell a call and the stock price, if I sell a call, then I got to wait until the buzzer hits. I got to wait until the expiration date before I can do anything else with that stock. But once the expiration date hits, if I still have ownership of the stock because it didn't hit the strike price, then I can sell that call again. So that's kind of how it is. The stock has to be cleared up of any contractual obligations for you to be able to make any sort of move with that. All right, let's see. Julius, Dr. Boyce, I sold 16 contracts of Snap today. What do you think about UPST and EBIX for options? UPST, that was one of the money makers I put in there. I like the income that can be generated from that. EBIX, I haven't had a chance to look at that, but look at the money makers. Look at the money makers that are in there. Log in at theblackbusinessschool.com, and the money makers are in there. And I'm going to keep calibrating that list, and I'll text you guys as I see the updates, or if anything changes with the market. Just keep an eye out on the text messages. Let's see. Hamara says, how much time do you put on put options for the stock that you own? If I own the stock and I'm selling calls, I'll go out about 6 to 8 months on my put options, 6 to 8 months. Let's see. Last question, and then we're going to bounce out for today. I'm new to investing, not options, but long-term stocks. Would you suggest buying fractional shares of many different stocks or whole shares, building a solid position in order to have the option of selling calls in the future? In my portfolio where I'm buying stocks just to hold them, I don't worry if they're fractional shares or not fractional shares. I'm just buying them so I can hold them and own them. When I'm the portfolio, the separate portfolio where I'm selling calls, I do that with intentionality. So I'll tend to buy the shares in blocks of 100 so that I can generate income from them. So almost in a way, in my head, it's like a real estate analogy. I think of every 100 shares I buy as like owning another door. Like my real estate friends, they talk about, I have 100 doors or something, and I collect rent on 100 doors. Well, to me, 100 blocks of 100 stocks is like having 100 doors. So I have every block I can generate a weekly or monthly income from that block. So, for example, with C3.ai, I have a few thousand shares, and so that gives me, like, let's say 40 or 50 blocks every week, and then I sell those calls. Let's say I sell those calls for the week for like $1 each. Then that's $4,000 each week collected from my ownership of C3.ai. I also pick a strike price that's slightly above the current price of the stock. I go out about maybe 4% for C3.ai because I want to try to maintain ownership of the stock, and I don't really need the cash. And so that way, if the stock does shoot up and it goes past the price point, I can then make a decision. Do I either roll it up and put the money out to maintain ownership, or do I just let it go? Or maybe I do partial roll-ups. Maybe I buy back half the shares and then let the other half go. There's a lot of ways you can play that. But also the other thing too is that when the prices go up like they are right now, I start looking for those puts. Remember, with investing, this is the last thing I'm going to share with you guys before we bounce on out of here. With investing, it's really important to understand that the biggest